الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تبارك وتعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام وكفى بها نعمة. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He is worthy of being praised. And we thank Him subhanahu wa ta'ala for His generosity, for the ni'mah of al-Islam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase this ni'mah for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve this ni'mah, as subhanallah, many were deprived of it to start with, and many unfortunately nowadays deprive themselves of it. They have it, but they don't do it justice. They do not do it justice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in sending this religion to this ummah, through the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and through the final revelation sent to mankind in the Quran, gave us a lot of guidelines that were made not to make our lives difficult, as some so-called Muslims tend to think. You know, oh, Ramadan, we have to fast. Oh, it's difficult. No water, no food. Why is that? This is making my life difficult. SubhanAllah. No, it's actually making your life easy. It is making you a better person. It is making you a healthier person. It's making you spiritually better. It's making your soul better. The benefits are countless. SubhanAllah. But some people don't recognize these things. They don't understand these things. So these guidelines were made to make us a better person, to make us a better believer, to make us a better worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala created us so that we would worship Him alone and not take any partners with Him, so we can practice at-tawheed. At-tawheed, at-tawheed. At-tawheed is what saves you on the day of reckoning. Without a-tawheed, you have no chance. So we have to be thankful for this ni'mah of a-tawheed. Today in the khutbah of Jumu'ah, I spoke about a very important subject for the ones that were here. I talked about being neighborly and what it means to be a good neighbor, and what it means to be to take care of your neighbor, etc. And subhanAllah, as it is the case with the khutbah of Jumu'ah, we never have enough time to elaborate as much as we want, as it is the case with some of the scholars. For example, in Egypt, mashallah, they give on the minbar and they give you an hour and a half khutbah. And people sit throughout the whole thing, and they're patient and they're happy because they're given a lot of information, and it happens to be everyone's day off. Nobody works on Friday, so alhamdulillah, they get a lot of information on the Jumu'ah. It's not the case here. We are limited to half an hour. A lot of times I exceed that, not that I intend to, but it just, subhanAllah, happens. So I'd like today to speak a little bit more about the subject in light of those horrible incidents that took place last Friday, of all times, of all Jumu'ahs, of all days. It seems like every time we have guests in our masjid and someone tends to go crazy and does unthinkable things, subhanAllah. So that's what happened. We had an American brother that converted to Islam about 2 years ago, passed away. We had his funeral, we had his janazah right here. They could see the casket right here. We did the janazah prayer right there. After I spoke, about having pride in Islam, having pride in being a Muslim, and I spoke about the way that we're supposed to treat the non-Muslims, subhanAllah. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Musa and Harun, Musa one of his best prophets and messengers, and Harun, another prophet, his brother, to Fir'aun. And Fir'aun, who is Fir'aun? The biggest enemy of Allah. Do you know that in the Quran, the shaitan was never called the enemy of Allah. He was called the enemy of mankind. But never was the shaitan called in the Quran the enemy of Allah. Period. But Fir'aun was called the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Surah Al-Qasas, يَأْخُذْهُ عَدُوٌّ لِي وَعَدُوٌّ لَهُ. That Allah Ta'ala spoke about the Nile taking the small crib or casket where Musa was as a baby, and the Nile would take him right to the castle of Fir'aun. And Allah mentioned that so that his enemy and my enemy will take him in, which is Fir'aun. But still, subhanAllah, when Musa received his prophethood and messengership in Sinai, the very first order of business, the very first commandment that he received is for you and your brother to go and speak to Fir'aun. اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go to Fir'aun as he transgressed all the limits and he pushed all the limits. فقولا له قولا لينا. Ya Allah. And speak to him kindly and speak to him gently. This is who? Fir'aun, the enemy of Allah, the one that said, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. He said, I am your greatest Lord. I am. He proclaimed deity. He proclaimed that he was God. Subhanallah. And still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told his messenger and his brother, the prophet, to go and to speak to him kindly. Now subhanallah, if you're here and your car happened to be towed away by someone who is not Muslim, you go out there and you treat him as if he's worse than Fir'aun? I mean, come on. Even if he did it unjustly, and if he was an oppression or dhulm, he's still, as a Muslim representing this community, representing the masjid, you have to do it kindly and gently, subhanAllah. And it's especially, like I said, after listening to that khutbah and praying the janazah, then going out there and doing exactly that. That shows, subhanAllah, that a person did not benefit, that a person should reconsider, that a person should work on himself, work on his heart, work on his relationship with Allah. If you come to the khutbah of Jum'ah, which is made for a person to come and make a change and reconsider and learn, if a person doesn't come and benefit from that, then I don't know when. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. So, going back to speaking about the neighbors, some guidelines, very few guidelines in a few minutes inshallah ta'ala, about being neighborly. The first thing is when you're about to live somewhere, and you have the choice, you have the leeway, you have the ability to do so, then choose your neighbors carefully. This is very important. Choose your neighbors carefully. This is, works out more than in our countries, and more so in the time of the Prophet and the Sahaba and the Tabi'in, because a lot of the time they had the ability to do so. You look at who is going to live next to you. Because this is very important, subhanAllah, because the neighbor is going to know more about you than the others. He knows your patterns, he knows your habits, he knows how many people live in the house. Maybe, like I mentioned in the khutbah of Jum'ah, his house is higher than yours. Maybe he's able to look inside your house. So, if it is someone who is righteous, then subhanAllah, he will make your life easier. It reminds me of the story Nas'alullah al-afiyah. He just came to me right now. There was this man in the time of the Tabi'een by the name of Salih al-Mu'addin. That's the word, the name Salih, what does it mean? Righteous. Salih al-Mu'addin. This man, subhanAllah, he did the adhan for years, 30, 40 years. He was known to be a righteous person. But subhanAllah, he had one thing, one flaw, that he did not lower his gaze. He did not do ghadd al-basar. He was looking in places. And since he was the highest, because he was in a sawma'a, a minaret, doing the adhan, one day he looked right towards someone's house and he saw, and it was happened to be a Christian man's house, and he saw his daughter. And she happened to be beautiful. So it was a fitna, futina biha. It was a fitna for him. So he went downstairs immediately, knocked on their door. She opened the door. He's like, I am in love with you. I would like to marry you. Right away. SubhanAllah. So quick. She said, no, that would not work. You're a Muslim, I'm a Christian, it would not work. He said, well, no, he insisted. She's like, no, it's not going to work. She said, well, I will denounce Islam and I will become a Christian if you want me to, as long as I marry you. This is what fitna, this is what the shaitan does. SubhanAllah. After being a person that did the adhan for years, for about 40 years, the fitna got a hold of his heart. So she said, okay, in that case, yes, okay, I will inform my father. You are to come back. And you announce that you disown Islam, that you disown Muhammad, you disown the Quran, you don't believe, you disbelieve in all these things, and you enter Christianity, then we will get married. So he did exactly that, came back, he said, I deny Muhammad, I don't believe in Islam anymore, I don't believe, I'm a Christian, subhanAllah. So he said, okay, her father accepted, and as they were preparing the wedding, and this part of the story I'm not too sure about, so don't quote me on it. He was on a place that is high, and he ended up falling, and broke his neck and he died, subhanAllah. Right? The day that they were supposed to be married. So, what did he do? He did not reach what he wanted to reach. That which he dropped everything and denounced everything, did not reach it. He ended up dying on that state of kufr wal-'iyadhu billah. And people found out about his story. Nobody even wanted to bury him. They took him and threw him out somewhere in the wilderness. This is the humiliation that happened, subhanAllah. So basically this person, because of one look, look what happens to him, subhanAllah. Look what happens. So when it comes to choosing the neighbors, it is very important to choose, if you can, of course. I know here, I went through the experience. It took me 2 months to find a house to live in this area. At that point, I was going to be picky about who's living next to me. Whatever place we found that is decent, we took. But alhamdulillah, by the will and the mercy of Allah, it seems like our neighbors are okay people. We ask Allah to give them guidance to Islam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم في حديث سعد, قال أربع من السعادة. 4 things are from true happiness. المرأة الصالحة, Ya Allah, the righteous wife. والمسكن الواسع, and a spacious house. والجار الصالح, and a righteous neighbor. والمركب الهني أو الهني, كلاهما صحيح. الهني أو الهني, a nice ride, either at the time of the Prophet a nice camel or a nice horse, or if Allah Ta'ala bestowed upon you and gave you a nice car. وأربع من الشقاء, and 4 things are from that will bring you hardship and bring you sadness. وَالْعِيذُ بِاللَّهِ. Ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to bring happiness to all of us, to everyone here, and the Muslims inshallah Ta'ala. المرأة السوء, انظر للعبارة مش السيئة, السوء يعني the woman, the unrighteous, the evil woman, the woman that is not righteous. And the Prophet said, سوء So there's a difference between sayyi'ah and su. Normally sayyi'ah, she's not good. But su, the su is evil in itself. It's like she's evil in itself. Al-mar'atu su, wal-jaru su, same thing. An evil neighbor. Wal-markabu su. And subhanAllah, wal-maskanu al-dayyiq. And some bride, either at their time a horse or a donkey or a camel that limps, or subhanAllah, a 1962 Pinto that is all beat up. I'm just giving an example, but something that is not comfortable, not a good ride, and a very, very tight house, and a tiny house. So the Prophet ﷺ, obviously from this hadith, we see that, if you're able, if Allah bestowed His mercy upon you and was generous with you, and you're able, there's no harm in having good things, in having comfortable things, in seeking good things in the life of this world, as long as those things do not get in the way of your ibadah, do not get in the way of your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can we get my pillow? It's really uncomfortable. Number 2, أن يحب لجاره ما يحب لنفسه. That you should love for your neighbor what you love for yourself. وهذا من حق المسلم على أخيه. This is from the right of the Muslim on his brother in general. Subhanallah. And الله عليه وآله وسلم والذي نفسي بيده لا يؤمن عبد حتى يحب لجاره ما يحب لنفسه. Subhanallah. Although راوي الحديثين هو نفسه أنس رضي الله عنه. أنس هو الذي روى حديث قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Anas is the one. Relax. Anas is the one that narrated the hadith. One of you would not believe until he wants for himself, for his brother, what he wants for himself. And it's the same Sahabi, Anas radiallahu anhu, who narrated this hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, by the one in whose hand my soul is. Of course it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of you would not believe until he wants for his neighbor what he wants for himself. هذا حديث أخرجه مسلم. This hadith by Muslim rahimahullah. So it is imperative, it is important that we love for our brothers in Islam what we love for ourselves, that we love for others, all of humanity, what we love for ourselves, and it is imperative that we love for our neighbors what we love for ourselves. And what is the best thing that we love for ourselves? What is the best thing? What? Al-Jannah, subhanAllah. So if we want good things for our neighbors in the life of this world, in Babi Awla, we should love for them to be from the people of Al-Jannah. And this is the way of the Prophet ﷺ. He did not want to leave anyone behind. He did not, subhanAllah, every time that he was able to bring one in, save one, he was so happy. He was so happy. And so, subhanAllah, there's also tremendous reward, as the Prophet ﷺ said to Ali, and he said to Mu'adh as well, that one of you, if you bring in one person, one person comes to Islam because of you, in one narration, خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا. It's better for you than this whole earth and what it contains. Meaning everything that in the life of this world, all the wealth that you can find on this planet. Have you ever heard of any king ever that owned the whole planet? That had that was able to own everything in this planet? Never. It was never, not even Sulaiman alayhi salam, not even Sulaiman or Dhul Qarnayn. They didn't own everything in this planet. So a king, he's the one, the ruler in a kingdom, but not everything in the kingdom belongs to him. But the Prophet ﷺ is telling you and I, that, subhanAllah, that you bring one person to Islam, it is better for you. It is better for you than the whole world, the whole planet and what it contains. All the wealth that it contains, bringing one person is better for you. And another narration that is known, خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنْ حُمْرِ النَّعَمِ. It is better for you than the red camel. The red camel back then was like a Mercedes now. So imagine if you had 200 or 300 of those, that's a lot of wealth. The Prophet ﷺ said that bringing one person to Islam is better for you than that. So, subhanAllah, going back to that person that created that incident last Friday, I mean, subhanAllah, you go out there, your car has been towed. Yes, I know. I've had my car towed before. It's not a good situation. You have places to be. But, قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ مَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. Learn to say, this is Allah's will, and whatever He wills, He does, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Say, قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ مَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. Pay the money, and take your car and go. It is better than creating an incident that could have very negative repercussions on your own self, as a person and the whole community. And that's what that person was doing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him and give us hidayah. Number 3, عدم إيذائه بأي شيء من قول أو عمل. Not to harm your neighbor with anything, meaning that with your tongue or your hands. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قد شدد على الصحابة في ذلك. The Prophet ﷺ was so stern when he came to that, the way that you deal with your neighbor. حديث أبي هريرة الذي أخرجه البخاري قال صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فلا يؤذي جاره. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let them not harm their neighbor. Whenever the Prophet ﷺ says something like that, makes that statement, مَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ, whoever believes in Allah and the last day. What is that? He's putting in doubt. He's putting in doubt. That means if you not doing that, doing the opposite of what I'm telling you, what I'm showing you, will put in your doubt, will put doubt, or you put in doubt your belief in Allah and the last day. That means you should reconsider. Go back and see and examine your faith and examine your belief, because it is lacking. So it is important that at least if we can't benefit our neighbors, let's not harm them. Let's not be a cause of their hardship, cause of their stress, cause of subhanAllah. You find that a lot of people, for example, that live in apartments and have small kids. When you live in an apartment and you have a small kid or other kids, and you know your kids they make a lot of noise, you have to make certain arrangements. Either choose to live in the first floor so that you don't, because we get a lot of people telling me, Wallahi, I live in the second floor and my kids are driving us crazy. They're stomping on the neighbors and making noise, and the neighbors come and complain. Wallahi, it's not befitting for Muslims. All they're going to be saying is that the Muslims upstairs are preventing us from sleeping. We can't sleep anymore because of them Muslims upstairs. We don't want to hear that. You want to be a source of goodness and a source of peace and tranquility for your neighbors. Number 4, الإحسان إليه دائما. To be good to them, to do good things, to do things for them. And this is always, at all times, not sometimes. It is a duty for us to do all the time, constantly. حديث أبي شريح وأبي هريرة رضي الله عن الجميع الذي أخرجه مسلم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر, وقد ذكرت هذا الحديث في خطبة الجمعة. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليحسن إلى جاره, ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه, ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليسكت, وفي رواية أو ليصمت. Subhanallah. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let them be good to their neighbor. And whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let them be good and be welcoming and be generous with their guests. And whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him say that which is good or be quiet. And I love that one. Wallahi, I love that last one. The first two are excellent. But the last one, we need a lot of that one. A lot of that one. Because subhanAllah, you find, if you look closely, examine closely, you find that people in our ummah are the ones that run their mouth the most. And they talk about anything and anybody. Subhanallah. And Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, he asked the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ya Rasulullah, are we held accountable for what we say? What did the Prophet ﷺ say? ثكلتك أمك يا معاذ. ثكلتك أمك. This is an expression to show the person that what you're about to say is important and strong. So he said, may your mother lose you, ya Mu'adh. May your mother lose you. Do you think that there's something more so than that puts people or throws people on their faces in a narration on their noses in the hellfire, more so than what their tongues put forth? SubhanAllah. Our tongues are so dangerous. The حكماء العرب يقولون احذر سيفا بين فكيك. احذر سيفا بين فكيك. Beware of a sword that's between your two jaws, because it could do more damage than the sword. وقال بعضهم أن اللسان صغير جرمه عظيم جرمه. صغير جرمه عظيم جرمه. The tongue as an organ, as a limb, is very small, but subhanAllah, the crimes of it are tremendous. But look at the Arabic wordplay here. Jurm, jirm, and jurm. You look at the two words, they're the same, but one of them starts with a kasra, and the other starts with a dhamma. The first one with the kasra, jirm, means an organ or a limb, and the second one is jurm, it means a crime, subhanAllah. So as an organ it's pretty small, but the crimes of it are tremendous. Now, number 5, وهذه سبحان الله هذه يعني لا يفعلها إلا مؤمن. تحمل أذى الجار والصبر عليه. To be patient with the harm of your neighbor. SubhanAllah. And not many will be able to do that one. But SubhanAllah, this is what the Prophet ﷺ had instructed us to do. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We have to be able to handle that harm, especially nowadays. Because these days, we will be harmed by our neighbors more so than before. Because when you open the TV, you turn on the TV or open the media, there is no other subject besides Islam. All they're talking about is Islam. Islamic this and Islamic that. That's all they're talking about. SubhanAllah. I don't know if they do it on purpose, pronouncing it that way to sound like Islam, but that's what they're doing the whole time, and you find that they're, SubhanAllah, they elaborate and over-elaborate and bring more stuff and then side stories. It's all revolving around one thing, to make you and I look like monsters. That's what they want. That's what they're trying to do. So let us not look like monsters. We have to look like the opposite. Walk the footsteps of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, brother.
Last Friday, I was trying to get out of it, but I can't. He was blocking the way, and that guy tried to hit the man.
Who?
He took his car, our net, and I heard him say, "Are you
Don't say anything. Whatever you heard, I heard everything. Yeah, I heard. I did not mention anything in the khutbah. I don't want to mention it. Yeah, whatever he said to that man was horrible, because he was actually recorded. He recorded it and didn't. Yeah. May Allah forgive him and may Allah give him and give us hidayah. But we don't want to, fuel the fire by saying anything from what he said. But it was uncalled for. It was wrong. What we have to do actually, the Prophet ﷺ, what he wants us to do, to actually and تقابل الإساءة بالإحسان. تقابل الإساءة بالإحسان. That when a person harms you, what do you do? And this is a lofty thing to do. It's not easy. It's not given to everyone. Whenever you are harmed, what do? How do you retaliate? By being good. This is the way of the Prophet ﷺ. This is the way of the Prophet ﷺ. Many stories come to mind. I don't know if you heard the story. The Prophet ﷺ, when he was in Mecca, he saw, and I think I told this story here before, he saw an old woman carrying some really heavy things. So he went and says, "Can I help you?" She said, "Yeah, by all means." So he picked up that stuff, and it was very heavy, and they walked for a long distance. They were walking and walking and walking until they finally got to her house. So he put the stuff down. She said, "Young man, you did me a big favor. I'm going to do you a big favor as well." He said, yeah. She's like, well, you know, there's a man in town by the name of Muhammad. This man is crazy, he's a sorcerer, he is this, he is that. Stay away from him. If you see him, close your eyes and close your ears and run away. Because you're going to be bewitched, he's going to put a spell on you. What did he do? Now, that's what I want us to picture this. If he was one of us. Oh yeah? You're going to be looking for something to hit with. This is subhanAllah. What was the reaction of the Prophet? Big smile. He said, oh, I am Muhammad. With a big smile. What did the woman say? Get away from me? No. That's it. She got it. She got it. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa annaka Rasulullah. Why? Because a true prophet and a messenger, what does he do? When he's harmed, he's patient and he doesn't get angry. That's why the Prophet ﷺ never got angry for himself. Never ever did he get angry for himself. He only got angry when the limits of Allah were transgressed against. That's when he got angry, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Al-Muwasat, number 6. Al-Muwasat bi-al-ta'am ولا سيما إن كان الجار فقيرا. To give food, to offer food to the neighbor. This one, wallahi, does wonders, and I've tried it personally. I moved here from Tampa. Before Tampa, I was in Davenport. I was part of a small masjid, and I actually wanted to actually join a place. For the longest time, I wanted to do that. To join a place that was barely started. They had nothing. They could not pay or anything. I said, you know, I'm going to go, move next to them, be the imam of that masjid, until it stands on its feet and becomes known, becomes a masjid, then I move on. That's what I did. So I lived right next to this place. I remember clearly when we brought, the movers brought their big truck, it was slightly next to our next door neighbors. The woman came out, kicking and screaming, move this away, and she was not, because she saw me, she saw my wife, automatically, oh, God, what's happening? These are the Muslims moving next to us. What is going to happen? So we didn't say anything. We put our stuff in, alhamdulillah, we settled. Then Ramadan came. Shortly after Ramadan came. In Ramadan, all Moroccans know we have some special cookies, shabakia, sillo, other things that we make for Ramadan. You guys, some of you have tried it before. So we make a big batch of that. So we took some and I knocked on the door. She was surprised. Can I help you? She's like, oh no, I told this is Ramadan. I don't know if you've heard it. She's a school teacher. I don't know if you've heard of Ramadan. We make some special cookies. We brought you some. Of course, she's never seen this stuff before. So I started telling her the ingredients. It's flour and almond and sesame seeds and all that. And of course, just in case they have some allergies, you have to be careful with that. So he told her the ingredients. He said, okay, go ahead and try some. She's like, wow, this is amazing. So already wow, this is what's going on. These are the people that we thought, according to the media, they're evil. But they're bringing us cookies. I wonder what's the catch. But subhanAllah, after that, every week, at least once a week, we'll either cook some food and take it to them. My wife, alhamdulillah, makes excellent pizza. We'll make pizza and we will take it to them. All kinds of cakes. The woman started saying to us, every time we knock on the door with a cake, or especially with a sweet, you guys are evil. Do you know why? Because she's trying to diet. And we constantly were messing up her diet because she couldn't get her enough of that stuff. So, subhanAllah, we lived there for 14 months. The night before our move to Tampa, we knocked on their door with a couple of gifts. And I said, we just want to say thank you for being such good neighbors. We're moving tomorrow. Both her and her husband started crying. Wallahi. They started crying. Why? What happened? And they said, they made a statement, subhanAllah, I will remember it to this day. She said, and he said, you guys are the best neighbors we've ever had. And we lived in many places. You guys are by far the best neighbors we ever had. We will never forget you. Alhamdulillah, this, to me, it was really heartwarming because you know that even though the person treated you poorly at the beginning, but you still persevered through it. SubhanAllah. it bore its fruits. And that's how we should do. It doesn't matter how, person gives you the look, and you have to understand, the media is a powerful tool, and it programs people a certain way. Ask our brother Todd, he's going through it in his own home, being a Muslim and his wife is not. He goes through it on a daily basis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a way out. The media is a very strong and powerful tool that programs these people to see us the opposite of what we are. SubhanAllah. Look at each one of us. Would you even think about harming someone? With my own kids, I tell them, if there's a mosquito or a fly or an insect that is inside the house and it has a potential to harm us, if you're able to catch it and throw it outside, it'd be better. If you have to kill it, then kill it. But subhanAllah, if I catch you harming insects outside the home, I'm going to punish you. Such is the way of the Muslim. It is a creation of Allah. You don't want to harm it for nothing, let alone harming a human being. This should be the outlook that we should have. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال صلى الله عليه وسلم ليس المؤمن بالذي يشفع وجاره جامع إلى جنبه. It is not the believer. The true believer is not this way. It's not the true believer that will fill his stomach and get full and eat his fill while his neighbor next door is hungry. SubhanAllah. And a lot of us don't. Sometimes we don't know. You look at someone's house, but you don't know what's on the inside. You don't know what the people are going through. And it's important for us to know. This way we have a chance to help. We have a chance to support someone in case of need. Many other guidelines that the Prophet ﷺ told us, but I've already kept you here for 37 minutes. I will tell you one story, and inshallah I'll let you go home, inshallah, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Everyone knows, does anyone know who Abdullah ibn Mubarak is? Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Ex-president. Without me mentioning that guy here? No. It's not the ex-president of Egypt. Abdullah ibn Mubarak is one of the most eminent scholars of Islam. One of the hasanat, just to give you an idea, one of the hasanat of Abdullah ibn Mubarak is Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. You've heard of him. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah was a student of Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Not only that, Abdullah ibn Mubarak supported him financially. He gave him a house to stay in, and he gave him food and gave him money to support him while he was teaching him. Who is Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah? You don't get this title Shaykh al-Islam from nothing. This Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah is one of the most eminent scholars of his time. And in the history of Islam, people are still teaching his books to this day and quoting him in the khutbah of Jumu'ah and in lectures. Abdullah ibn Mubarak was his teacher. This man, this great scholar, he said he was in Hajj, and was doing tawaf. Then he got tired. He sat down to relax, and he kind of dozed off. When he dozed off, he saw the Prophet ﷺ. Ya Allah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not deprive you and I of such an honor. And only the righteous get this honor to see the Prophet ﷺ in your sleep. So the Prophet ﷺ said, Yabna al-Mubarak, Yabna al-Mubarak, when you finish your Hajj, I want you to go back to Iraq. Ibn Mubarak did not live in Iraq, he lived in Khurasan. I want you to go back to Iraq and look for a man who is a Majusi, a fire worshipper by the name of Burhan al-Majusi. I want you to look for him and give him the good news that Allah Ta'ala is giving him a castle in Al-Jannah right next to mine. A castle in Jannah right next to the Prophet ﷺ. He came out of his dream startled because being a scholar didn't make sense to him. This guy's a Majusi, a fire worshipper. How is he going to get a castle next to the Prophet ﷺ? He said, this is probably the shaitan is playing with me. So he sat down for a while, then he dozed off again. He says the same dream. Ya Ibn Mubarak. And this time it's like with stronger language. I told you, do what I told you. I am the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm the Prophet, and the shaitan would not come in my likeness. I want you to go to Iraq and meet this man and tell him that. He woke up startled the second time and said, wow, this is impossible. He dozed off the third time, the same dream. The Prophet ﷺ said, you need to do what I'm telling you. He said, Ya Rasulullah, in the dream. He said, what is the sign? Give me a sign. He said, he grabbed my hand, and he said, with this hand that I shook, that I grabbed, when you see this man, because he's old, and he's almost blind, he can barely hear, his bones are weak, his nerves are almost shriveled, he can't do anything. Once you touch him, you wipe over his hand, and his body, with this hand that I touched, he will become young again. So Ibn Mubarak, rahimahullah, did exactly what he was told. He finished the Hajj, and he went to Iraq. And it's quite a distance, I don't need to tell you. So he went looking for this man. They showed him the house of this man. He walked in, he said there was a lot of people. This man was very important for the fire worshippers. He was the leader of the fire worshippers, so a lot of people were there. Obviously he was very wealthy, and so on and so on and so forth. He asked to meet him. He said, he came in and he found the man very old, could barely move, around the end of his life. He said, I want to talk to you in private. So he ordered for everyone to leave. Only a couple young men stayed. So he said, Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, came to me in my dream, and he said that Allah has promised for you a castle in a Jannah right next to his. Now I want to know what deeds you did that made you deserve this. So he said, well, I had 3 daughters and 3 sons. So I married them to each other. And I gave them properties and gave them money, and they're living really well. So Mubarak said, no, this is not it. This one actually will make you from the people of the hellfire. Because the Jews, as you know, one of the things that they did, they married their sisters, and they married their mothers, but they didn't discriminate. Anybody could marry anybody. So he said, no, this is not it. So he started asking him, and every time he would tell him a deed, and Ibn Mubarak finds out that it's not yet. He will ask him to tell him about a deed, and Ibn Mubarak says, no, this is not it. I don't want to make it too long, so I want to اختصر شوية. So, subhanAllah, he got to, so the person started questioning Ibn Mubarak. How do I know this is true? And I'm not even from your faith, and how is it possible that I am promised? Do you have any sign? So he said, yes. So he came and said, this is the hand that the Prophet ﷺ shook. I'm going to shake your hand, I'm going to touch you with it, and you are supposed to become young again. Now subhanAllah, to the disbelief of those young men that stayed there, as soon as he did, he said his hair became dark again, and subhanAllah, he could see again, he could hear again, everything came back, he was young again. So Ibn Mubarak, being a scholar, was still curious, wants to know what prompted this, how did this happen? So he said, I remember, one day I had a big walima. I had, let's say it's a party. I made a lot of food, and I invited many people, mostly from the fire worshippers, but there were also Christians and Muslims and Jews. Everyone was welcome. There was a lot of food, and everyone ate, everyone was happy. When everyone left, and I was about to sleep, I heard someone knocking on the door. He said the servants were so tired from handling the walima that they didn't hear the door. So I had to open the door. By the way, this man was over 140 years old. Over 140. And this particular incident happened when he was about 100. So there was a woman that was knocking on my door. She said, I have daughters, and we are by ourselves, and our land has turned off. Can you give me some fire? He said, well, it's against our religion to bring fire out of the house. But, you know, because you're my neighbor and you're by yourself and you're a woman, I will make an exception. So he gave her some fire for her lamp. She came and as he was going to sleep, she knocked again. She said, I'm sorry, the fire turned off. He said, okay, look, as he was getting the fire again for her, she said, well, the actual reason why I knocked on your door, I have some orphan daughters. They're hungry. They're actually turning on the floor from hunger, and they've been smelling the cooking from your house all night. Do you have any leftovers that I can give them? He says, of course. He brought a big thing, and he started giving her a bunch of everything, all of the food that they had. And he brought some clothing for her daughters, and also some money. He filled that thing so much that she could not carry it. Being an older woman, she could not carry it. And he was an old man. She said, well, I can't carry it. So he said, well, he said, I'm over 100 years old. But you know what? Try to put it on top of my head. So she put all that stuff on top of his head, and he walked to her house to give it to her. Not only that, he started feeding her daughters himself until when they were full and they were happy. He started distributing the gifts, the clothes, and he gave them the money that he had taken. He gave them a bunch of money. So they started making dua for him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive your sins. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a castle right next to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah. So the dua came through. So what was missing? What was left? All you had to do is do what? Say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. The scholars that related the story said that many people from the fire worshippers became Muslims that day because of what they saw, because he was the leader, and because of what they saw, subhanAllah. So look how tremendous a deed that someone did to his neighbor. It saved him from being a 140-year-old fire worshipper about to die and being Jahannam forever, to being, subhanAllah, someone who's going to have a castle and be the neighbor of the Prophet sallallahu Ya Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the neighbors of His Messenger, even though we don't deserve it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be merciful with us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to do good deeds and take us upon those good deeds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach us that which we do not know and remind us of that which we have forgotten. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والحمد لله رب العالمين وجزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله فيكم.